welcome to this episode of Insider Info. Today we're diving into the slopes of Deer Valley with the one and only SkiDadTV. From carving tips on pristine groomers to insider advice on the best trails for every skill level, this is your chance to uncover what makes Deer Valley the skier's dream. We'll even explore the vibe of the resort and how you can book a private lesson with our guest. Please type any questions you have in the comments for SkiDad. They are highly appreciated. Let's get started. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So you're in New Hampshire right now?
Yeah, I came back east for a little master's camp that I was guest coaching at, and we had a pretty great time.
Nice. You grew up in New Hampshire?
I actually grew up in Vermont, but I raced in college at UNH, so I've spent quite a bit of time over here as well.
All right, everybody, please start asking the questions in the comment. So I have a section later where we'll ask all the questions that everybody's posted. But I have a list of questions to go into with SkiDad here. And what's your real name, by the way?
My real name is Joe Dunn.
All right. Thanks, Joe. What's your background in skiing, and what has made you call Park City area home?
I grew up ski racing in Vermont, and then basically raced my whole life through college. And then I got a job in the ski industry. I worked for Technica and Blizzard for a number of years. And it was during that I actually visited Park City and visited a college buddy on the way home from Mount Hood in the summertime. My wife and I loved it, and we hadn't even seen it in the winter yet, but it was so great in the summer. We just assumed the skiing would be great. And then we made it our goal to move to Park City. And now that we've been there for the last 11 years, we love it, and it's home.
Yeah, it's such a gorgeous place. I love it there. All right, let's move on to our next question. From your perspective, what sets Deer Valley apart from other ski resorts, especially for skiers looking to hone their carving technique?
Deer Valley really is a level above all the other resorts I've skied. And I've skied 130 resorts in my life. And Deer Valley has better groomers. They put more effort into the grooming. But I think what really sets it apart is that when they built Deer Valley, they carved the trails on the mountain in a way that they flow really well, and they graded them all so that they set up really well for good skiing. They're flattened in the right spots. They get the pitches in the right spots. There's not a lot of janky terrain features. It's all really smooth and flowy. And on top of that, the trails, because the trails lay out so well, but the lift service is really excellent. You've got, in some areas, you have 3 chairlifts bringing you to the top of the same mountain. That way you don't have any crisscrossing runs or big cat tracks cutting through the middle of, the face of a big pitch to get you back to the lodges. It really is set up to flow. The trails are set up to be fun. They're set to be skied top to bottom the way I love them. And then when you add to that, just all the amenities and the luxuries all over the place, there really isn't a place other than maybe Aspen and Sun Valley that compare to Deer Valley.
Yeah, I completely agree. Skiing at Deer Valley is a next level experience, and I sure enjoyed it. It's beautiful there too, and you have all the different parts of the mountain you can get to. How do you tailor your carving lessons to suit the groomed steep runs that Deer Valley is famous for? Do you have a favorite trail for teaching carving?
There's a couple of really great runs for teaching carving at Deer Valley, and they're not necessarily the steepest. Lost Boulder Run over on the Flagstaff Mountain is this perfect mellow pitch. I think it's a 15-degree pitch, and it's long and flat, and it's perfect for your early stages of carving where you want to just roll the ski up, feel the bend of the ski, and not get going too fast. And really you can get comfortable in your carves on something mellow like that. As for steeper terrain, Big Stick on the front side has a really great, it's a bowling alley on a pitch, perfectly straight, perfectly flat run on a fairly steep pitch. But because it's so consistent, you can really focus on just one variable, which is the carving, and not worrying about rollovers or turns in the trail. So it kind of simplifies it, even though it's a steep pitch that you're trying to carve on.
You know, as in both the other questions, those are great answers, and it kind of leads us into the next part where I think this will be very valuable to a lot of people that haven't been there, and to me that's been there a couple of times. Do you mind taking a look at the trail map with me and suggesting where beginner, intermediate, and advanced skiers would have the most fun, and maybe show us where some of those runs are you just talked about?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, let me pull that up.
So Deer Valley lays out really well in that the snow park area where you pull up, where all the parking is. So yeah, right there has our like learning zone, and it's the best place to start out. If you're a never ever, there's 4 magic carpets that are there, with the bottom carpet being for learn how to snowplow. The next carpet, you kind of move up, you get your turns going, and a really well laid out learning area to kind of move you through that zone pretty quickly. And then also out of the snow park area is our success trail, which is like a great first green run for everybody. It's long, it's mellow. And so right away you're skiing a green run that's super achievable, but that's also long. You go to a lot of ski areas and your first green run is going to be, maybe 500 yards long compared to your 100-yard carpet. And you don't really get the experience of skiing. But at Deer Valley, because we got this beautiful long green run there, you really get the feeling of being out in the mountain and skiing. Now, a tip for everybody in that is that lower pitch of success can be a little bit challenging. So there's the rosebud cutoff above that if you're a beginner and you're a little bit nervous, right there, that brings you back. And so you cut off what would be the most difficult pitch on success in the last pitch. And so that, like, the layout of the mountain is you start in the beginning, you start right where you park, you start at the base lodge, and you have all the easiest stuff there. And then from there, you can move up the mountain. And, as a beginner, you don't want to go to Bald Mountain, which is right in front of you. So you want to move to the right over to the Quincy Lift, over to Flagstaff. And then our next really great green run is Ontario. And that kind of cuts through the middle there.
Okay, I don't see it. Where is it? Right here.
Go a little to the left, go up to the top of that peak.
Okay.
And then to the left, and right there is Ontario. Now you're on Ontario. And Ontario is at least a mile long, if not longer. And it takes you through this really cool valley. It's beautiful. The pitches are just fantastic. It's wide. And again, even as a beginner, you're out on the mountain, you're skiing, and you're getting the experience of spending a lot more time doing the thing, which is skiing, and not just short run, ride a chairlift, short run, ride a chairlift. 3 runs on Ontario is a lot of skiing for a beginner. And, just another thing that sets Deer Valley apart is that we have this really great run for this ability level.
That's pretty amazing. I didn't realize there was that good of a progression at Deer Valley. How are there pretty amazing views there? And I've been a ski instructor in Sun Valley, and I get people that are getting really good, and they jump onto an intermediate, and they get kind of scared of the terrain and just being exposed. Mm-hmm. Do they stay pretty comfortable on these, or
That's where the cuts of the runs come into play. Everything was really well designed, and then it flows really nicely. And then, so once you're comfortable on Ontario, you head right back up to that same peak, the top of Flagstaff, and all of those blues coming off of Flagstaff are mellow blues, and they all just ski really great. So you hang there and you progress and you get more comfortable in the blues. And Flagstaff, it's not the tallest peak, so I wouldn't call it like our best scenic place to be on the mountain. Certainly Empire and Bald Mountain are better for the views, but everything there's beautiful. The lodges are beautiful. All of the condos that are around are beautiful. And so you really get like the resort experience everywhere you go.
I can't remember what the little lodge up there is, but I mean, that's what I found the lodge with the most character up there. You can get like a hot chocolate. What is that one called? Is that
Cushing's Cabin?
Cushing's Cabin. Yeah, that place was great. Is there any other place you'd recommend as a progression, maybe to the next level up to advanced?
Once you get into advanced, you head up to Bald Mountain. And Bald Mountain really has like, yeah, right to the left there. That really has like kind of my favorite runs at Deer Valley. Those are really long, flowy, rolly groomers. Not rolly in the sense that it's like a lot of undulation, but just that when it crests over a knoll, you get a good long pitch and then it flattens out and you might get another one. And the lift service, like this is a spot where there's 3 chairlifts bringing you back up to the lift. So no matter which way you go off the mountain, you get a great run. You're right back to the top and you've got every choice ahead of you.
All right. Well, we have the map pulled up. Do you mind if I have a couple follow-up questions on this?
Sure.
So I skied there a couple times, like I said, and I was really impressed with Empire over here. I had some great runs right under the chair, and it seemed like people didn't even bother with it. The one thing I didn't do any skiing in because I was by myself, and I haven't talked to anybody that skied there. What is Empire Canyon like for the expert skier? All these black diamonds.
Yeah, you get the daily chutes there that are certainly like extreme terrain, right? You get over there, you got a cornice you got to drop into, you have legitimate chutes, and then even the middle chutes are like full on extreme. Chute 4 through 7 are only skiable in really good snow years. So you get like the full on extreme runs that you can find anywhere else. Maybe they don't have the length that a place like Jackson or Snowbird has, but every bit of the steepness is there, and the snow quality is excellent. And in the middle there, the Empire, right where it says Empire Canyon Lodge and the X-File trees, those are some really dynamite open trees to ski through. You got to do a little bit of a hike to get there, but it's definitely worth it.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll see if this comes up in a minute. We're starting to get some questions, and that will come up after this next question. But yeah, I don't think I can appreciate it enough, somebody that skied there, as long as you're talking about those runs, and especially for a beginner and intermediate skier. I didn't realize it had such a good progression on those, or that run off of Flagstaff, Ontario looks amazing.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's very long.
All right. What advice would you give someone planning their first trip to Deer Valley to maximize their experience? Are there dining spots or insider information that may help visitors?
I think that's the great thing about Deer Valley, that everywhere is good. That if you got lodging close or on the mountain, that you're going to have a great experience. All the food all over the mountain is top notch. The lodge food is excellent. I actually like the Empire Lodge food the best. They serve a salmon sometimes that's just like fantastic. And there's a couple of restaurants throughout the mountain. Like you can go to the St. Regis and eat at a real restaurant. That's awesome.
Place is impressive. At St. Regis, they have a vernacular. Am I saying that right in there?
Funicular.
Funicular. Yeah, thanks. That place is impressive.
Yeah. And one thing I like to do with my family is like a special treat is if you get to the St. Regis, and I think it's 10:30. If you get there before 10:30, you can still get off order off the breakfast menu. And so like once a year, we take the kids there and we order fancy French toast on the mountain, and they love it.
All right. Fancy French toast. Can't go wrong with that. There's a little wine bar by there too. Is that something anybody can go to that's in some kind of yurt or tent?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely 21 plus, but it's like the bougie après scene, like very Euro vibe with loud, heavy beat music, and it's great if you want to do a little après.
Are there any other après places you recommend in Park City or in Deer Valley? I had a little trouble myself finding those good kind of comfortable places at Deer Valley. That's a great tip. Is there any other place you'd recommend to eat or get a drink there?
On the mountain, I don't actually do a ton of appraying out there. I'm usually working or skiing with my kids, so I'm not really the best guy to talk about like that kind of après scene. But downtown Park City's great. After a day of skiing, you can catch a shuttle to downtown, or you can drive there, and the whole Park City Main Street. You got the No Name Bar, the No Name Saloon's fantastic, and really just any spot you see on the strip. Again, I don't go out a lot because I got the kids, so I'm probably not the right guy to ask of like the best après scene.
All right, thanks a lot. I just thought I'd dig in on that a little bit too. It's a place, it's there's a lot to do. I found it very family friendly, and I really think that's probably what most people enjoy on top of the awesome skiing. Um, so we're starting to get some questions, so this is a good place for this. And anybody watching, now's your time to ask some questions, and I'd appreciate it if you have any questions. It would be nice to do them right now. But let's go take a look at some of the comments here. With so many great places around Park City and Salt Lake, why teach at Deer Valley?
Well, because I like the mountain the best. It really has the best runs, the best skiing experience, and so why not? If I'm going to teach, if I'm going to be working there, why not work at the best?
Yeah, that makes sense. It is the best, right? I mean, it's known as the best in Utah. I mean, is there?
Mhm.
I have these follow-up questions, and I'll try not to ask too many. But where else do you like to ski besides Deer Valley in the area?
I like Solitude a lot, which is helpful because it's on the Icon Pass.
Mhm.
Obviously, Snowbird is amazing. Alta is amazing, but the Little Cottonwood traffic situation is kind of overwhelming at this point. But Solitude is a really great resort. They've got a lot of really flowy runs, a lot of good extreme runs if you want it. It's not as big, but I really like Solitude. And then if I'm really going to travel throughout Utah, Powder Mountain is just to die for. It's worth every penny.
Okay, I haven't been there yet, but Solitude was impressive, and I really like Brighton too. But this isn't about me; it's your insight, and I got fogged out at Solitude, so I'll be back.
Yeah.
What's the strangest thing you've ever seen on the ski hill? All right,
Hmm.
it's a loaded question.
I mean, I've seen like deer run across the trail, or like you see a moose every once in a while. So like wildlife sightings are always kind of fun. Um, God, I don't know. I mean, I like the outfits. I'm a huge fan of the new trend of people dressing up in fun party outfits. I like the playful vibe, and so sometimes you see like a pretty exceptional outfit, maybe something with some sequence on it. Um, so those kind of things are pretty great, but and nothing too crazy that comes to mind.
All right, thanks a lot. Here's another good question. My husband and I used to go to Stein Erickson to stay and eat. Is that still a place you'd recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at Stein Erickson Lodge is probably number one in terms of dining experience. Like it's bougie, it's beautiful. The Sunday buffet is just like phenomenal. I really, it's a little pricey for me and the family, but if I end up in there with a client, then I usually treat myself to at least 4 desserts.
Can you go visit there without a reservation or staying there? I mean, I know at Alta you need a lot of that, but anybody can go?
Yep. Yeah, all the restaurants in Deer Valley you can just walk into. The only place there's the Talisker Club is a private club, but other than that, if it's a restaurant in Deer Valley, you can just head on in.
All right, here's another one from Melissa. What do you enjoy most about teaching skiing, and how long have you been teaching?
I've been teaching. Well, I was a race coach for a number of years, but I've really been involved in the ski industry as a racer, as an industry rep, as a race coach, as a ski instructor for my whole life. Specifically, ski instructing. This will be my 6th season. Um, what I love is sharing my favorite activity. I truly love skiing and have a huge passion for it. And so to be able to share that with other people and get them up to speed and moving around the mountain, sliding around and enjoying it in whatever capacity, for some people, it's getting them out and just touring the mountain and seeing things and checking out the big houses. For other people, it's that rush, that adrenaline of skiing aggressively or carving or powder skiing or whatever. But like skiing has this great, I think it's the greatest winter sport you could do. And it just like pure pleasure and fun.
I completely agree. I love it. I'm glad I've learned to ski as a kid, and it's always been something I find my way up to the mountain somehow in the winter, no matter what's going on. Such a great sport. The social side of it, getting outside. Let's see. Please, anybody else, if you have some questions, we have another one here from Melissa. I'm going to ask that one. If no other questions pop up, I'll have one more question for you, Joe.
Okay.
How did working for Technica contribute to your teaching? Can you speak to how the skis have changed in the last 10 years and how technology has changed skiing instructing?
Sure. Working for Technica and Blizzard, I got a insight into different equipment. And I skied on a lot of different skis, and I was able to work on ski boots, and I became a boot fitter and wanted and honed my own skiing by skiing on those different skis. I kind of gained more insight into my own skiing, but also like seeing how different pieces of equipment can affect different people in unique ways. And one way I've kind of incorporated that into my own life is with my kids. I have my kids ski on a lot of different skis throughout the year. I'm not above buying used skis. And so I've got a bunch of different versions of skis, or I'll take them back to last year's skis. And so I move them around on a longer ski, a shorter ski, so that they develop balance of skiers and not just a connection with one specific ski. And I think it's a good way to keep my kids more well-rounded as skiers. Now, as far as skis changing over the last 10 years, I think it was about 10 years ago when skis really hit their stride, where ski technology for everybody with the wider skis and how much metal and the wood cores and everything, there aren't really many bad skis anymore. Everybody's making dynamite products, and skiing is getting easier because of them. And I really think we're in a great spot as far as the equipment available to us, that there was a time when snowboarding, right, was overtaking skiing because it was easier. Now that the equipment's gotten so good and we're in the spot where we are with all these great options, skiing's now overtaking snowboarding, and I think it's overtaking snowboarding in terms of how easy it is to achieve.
Okay, I that leads me to a question I'd like to answer. I have some skis I've fallen in love with. I've started like Black Crows, and if you don't want to answer this because it's too in depth, but I just thought of it now is what ski would you like recommend for a beginner? What ski maybe for somebody that's carving, and maybe what ski for powder? And if that's too much, or if there's just one ski you recommend, what might it be?
I think the one ski recommendation doesn't really make sense because everybody's so different. So it's really like a waist width thing. So like beginner skiers should be on something that's like 75 to 80 millimeters underfoot. And then for carving, I'm a little bit on the wider side here because I'm in the West, but I really think the best carving ski is like 85 millimeters underfoot. One of my favorite skis all time, the Blizzard Brahma, was 88 millimeters underfoot, and that's a phenomenal carving ski. So that you don't need a race ski to carve. And some of my best turns ever have been on a 98 underfoot Bonafide. And so you can carve a ski that's pretty wide. I mean, I even carve my 104 twin tips. And so like, as for carving, it's kind of more snow dependent. If you got soft snow, you can go wider with your carving ski. If you got really firm, icy snow, you want to go narrower. As for a powder ski, anything over 100 millimeters is going to be phenomenal. But that being my 88 underfoot Brahmas, I've had phenomenal powder days out there where I'm teaching a lesson that I want to be on that ski, and then I end up skiing powder. Maybe in the afternoon, I'm skiing with just the dad, and he and I are skiing powder. And any ski that's got a little bit of early rise in the tip will get that shovel to float, and you can make it happen. So you don't have to be on a specific ski. I mean, powder's easy, but in general, a wide ski for powder, somewhere between 85, 95 for carving, and then beginners should be on something a little narrower.
Have you gone into some of this detail on your YouTube channel, SkiDadTV?
I haven't. But I've got a pretty good collection of me carving on various waist widths. So at some point, I will put together a compilation of me making turns on each waist width ski, and then I can put it out there, and the viewers can decide which one they want.
All right, we have another question here. Yeah, thanks a lot for that. The ski information is so great. Everybody obsesses over them.
Mhm.
Everybody has their favorites, but you really know what you're talking about. So that I appreciate that answer. And this one's a little personal, if you don't mind answering. How old are your children? Snowboarding or skiing for them?
I got two boys, Bryce and Dylan. They are 7 and 5. So far, we are a skiing family, and Deer Valley is skiers only. And since that's where our pass is, then we are on the ski track. My youngest, Dylan, has asked about snowboarding, and if that's something that he wants to do in the future, then it'll be fine. I don't have any dreams or requirements with the boys and what they do with their skiing. I just want them to come out and have fun. And no matter where they go with it, if throughout their whole lives they're still willing to come and spend a day carving with me once or twice a season, then that'll be a victory for me.
All right, thanks a lot. Last call for questions out there for SkiDadTV or Joe. All right, let's go on to my last question for you here. Is there anything you'd like to share about the vibe at Deer Valley and how people can contact you if they'd like a private lesson?
I think the vibe at Deer Valley it's pretty mellow, right? It's not like a bra scene. It's not an extreme scene. Everybody's there because, well, the bouginess of the place kind of takes care of it for itself, right? Like the atmosphere is very serious, but at the same time, it's people enjoying themselves. A lot of people on vacation, so it's a happy place. And when the quality of the mountain, when you're just so satisfied with the product that you're skiing on, it's tough to be frustrated. It's tough to complain about anything. So in general, it's a pretty positive vibe. As for booking me for a lesson, I am available for private lessons. You could email me at dunn83@gmail.com. That's DUNN83 at gmail.com. I'm happy to take bookings whenever. And, it's not just carving. I teach everything. I do kids, I do beginners, all the way through. And I'm happy to teach it all and really just enjoy the sport of skiing.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time. Those were great answers to everything, and for me, very helpful. I'll do one last call for questions. We have another one from Melissa, if you're interested in fielding one last question before we go. Any one skiing tip you give all the people you instruct from beginner to advanced and on up?
No, there's no red button for everybody. Everybody's unique, everybody's individual, and it's a outdoor sport. The snow's variable. Like, I show up to lessons in the morning with no expectations, with no idea what I'm going to do. I see what the snow has, see what we can make out of it. You look at the person, see what they can do, and I try and keep it achievable. One thing I really pride myself on is what we're teaching for the day, or what I'm talking about for the day, is something that they're going to be able to accomplish. So there is no one thing that I always do, one cue that I always use, or anything like that. I like to think that I can see the whole picture in the skier and make an achievable change.
I really appreciate your time, and this was great. I thought all your information was spot on, and I think a lot of people are really curious about Deer Valley, and I really enjoyed skiing there. I found the people nice. I appreciate you doing this. I hope people reach out to you to get some lessons. I know it sounds like you will teach everybody, and you know all levels of skiing. So please reach out to Joe and check out his channel. I really enjoyed. He has a video on tuning your skis that's next level. He goes through and shows you everything you need to know, and it's been very helpful for me. The carving information is unlike I've seen anywhere else, and it seems to be what you're most popular for online right now is the carving, isn't it? Joe, is there anything else that you're really proud of on your channel?
Well, I enjoyed shooting and making my family content and skiing with my kids. But you got to give the people what they want. And if carving is my contribution to YouTube, then I'm happy to provide it. So, if people want to check out my channel, SkiDadTV, it's all up there. And I like to preface it with, I really enjoyed Wayne's World when I was a kid. And so it's not the highest production quality. It is not the most cinematographic, but the content and the information I'd like to think is accurate and real and can help make real changes in people's skiing. It's good information, even though the production quality might not be the best.
I think it's terrific. It's straightforward, and you have a knack for knowing what needs to be addressed. And I think it's great content for anybody that's learning to ski, especially taking that next level up from beginner to intermediate, even advanced is awesome. So thanks again, Joe. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you, Cody. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.